How you guys doing today? Welcome back. Today is July 11th, 2022. It is 7-Eleven. If you go to that place and shop on this day, everything is free. I don't work there. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Evan. This is By the Bulls Trading, the only YouTube channel, Twitter troll, whatever you want to call me, that encourages you to take your trading just by the Bulls. Let's get it. So I don't want to spend too much time on the intro. I never have. I waste of time. I have 8 great plays for you. These are 8 plays no one else is talking about because they're all shills just trying to get views right now. If you've been around for a long time, you know I don't care about views in the least. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. I just care about quality content. So I have 8 great plays today. If you enjoy this content, go check out bythebulls.com. I have some really cool stuff on there for you to go check out. It's going to be some newsletters in the morning, newsletters at night. You get the picks early. You get the video streams early. You have a whole community dedicated to what we do here. Safe, risk-managed trades, especially in a bear market. You have to play both ways, trade with the trend, and be safe. So check out bythebulls.com. Discord's there, newsletters there. I appreciate you. With that being said, 8 great plays. I could spend more time on that. I don't think I'm going to today. I want to just kind of get into it, get out, bing, bang, boom. All good stuff. Let's get in these plays. So first is CNC, Centene Corporation Com. I like what I see here. This is a very easy short in my eyes. First thing we're going to see is that our first major support is near $79 and some change. You could argue, or one could argue, $82, $83 is actually the first support in this spot. You can see pretty well right there, right? But I could also argue the main support's at $75. So I kind of split the difference and went with this kind of medium support here at $79. Obvious resistance at $89. And you can see it has no sign of life above it. You can risk at most 2% and be happy with this trade. Second thing that I noticed is I do have longer term higher lows. You have to recognize that, right? You have a higher low here, higher low there. Across the board, a bunch of higher lows, right? And until recently, you can see as of now, we have almost 3 or 4 consistent lower lows, right? So we're starting to see a broad wedge here. See how it's making like a megaphone? It's looking like this, right? Well, I guess it'd be more like that, right? It has lower lows with the same highs. All that means is that a new pattern will form soon. Whenever you have a broadening wedge, a new pattern will form soon. Could be bullish, could be bearish, could be neutral. But all you need to know is a new pattern will form soon. So with the lower lows, I do lean from over bearish pattern, and I like that kind of idea here. Even if it's neutral, you want to see it come down to 79. Last thing that we notice with this chart is that my cat's all in my hand. Try filming with a 20-pound cat in your hand. It's fun. Last thing I notice is our POC here. If you don't know what volume profile is, it's this right here. There's my price targets and all that stuff for my members. But you can see volume profile here. If you don't know much about it, this is where 70% of volume happens between these 2 dotted lines. And this is our POC. The POC is a good thing and a bad thing for every trade. It's good because it's going to be your strongest support and resistance. So having this as a support for us is bad that we want to short here. We don't want to see it get stopped by $74. The good news is it's very gravitational. And so what's good for us is it, maybe a support, but it's really trying to pull us lower to $74. Price, for whatever reason, the relationship wants to be at $74. So we want to see it volume profile in our favor. That's plenty of room to run down here. You could risk 2% and try go for about 10 to 12 relatively easily here and have a nice 6 to 1 kind of setup. I like what I see. Easy short. If our markets are red tomorrow, I'd start here so far. When it comes to our indicators, I use the 10, 50, and 200 EMA lines. The 10 EMA cross under is really good for shorts in a bear market. So if you want to wait for us to cross under the 10 tomorrow, that makes some sense, right? Let us cross under, give it a % or 2. Let the candle solidify. It's going to be green, but let this candle come down like this, solidify, and then it keeps going down. A 10 cross under works very well here. 50, 200, too far away, but a 10 cross under is fine. 60 on the RSI, it's oversold. When it comes to our stochastic, again, it's fairly oversold. One could argue this is a mild bearish divergence. Those are higher highs. That's a slightly lower high. So it's a very small, but it is there, and it is very clear, a bearish divergence. And then bulls are high, bears are low in our vortex. But all that means with the bears high or the bulls high, bears low, all it means is that there's more room for bears to run up and less room for bulls to run up. And usually, eventually, those will go back and forth. And so with the bears being low and bulls being high, we should see some red action soon. CNC here, it's a very good risk versus reward setup. Of course, it can break out. Every play can break out or break down. It's just about probabilities. And for here, risk versus reward makes a whole lot of sense. CNC for a short. If the market's red tomorrow, I love what I see. I would definitely watch list it. Next is CZR, Caesar Entertainment. If you like to go to Las Vegas, you'll not love to hear that. I think this is an easy short as well. The reason being, once again, it's clear that our support line is at $36.60 and some change. And we're here $36, $37. Very solid support. See this? It's a very solid support. It's holding up well. The issue for Caesar and CZR here is that these lower lows and lower highs are so consistent here is making a nice descending triangle, right? You can see that we have lower highs, but the same support. This usually tends to break down. Now, of course, there are some plays where descending triangles do break up. That's fine. Those usually happen when you get higher lows as well, which we do not have. CZR here is a very easy short, in my opinion. The only good news for it, if you wanted to go long, which you could, I don't know why you would at this point, is that the POC is going to be gravitational once it pulls higher. I bet CZR, maybe not today, maybe not this month, will eventually be back to where it should be. But look at the dividend earnings, -2, -2, -$1. It's just bleeding money. So I think right here is a very easy short. Fundamentally and technically, it's a very easy short in my opinion. If you want to wait for a 10 crossover to buy into a good short here, if you want to wait for it to get closer to $40 to really manage your risk, that makes sense. But as long as we're below the 10, and especially the 50 EMA line, as long as price is below the 10 or the 50, shorting makes a lot of sense here. It's at 39. It's a good value, which we don't like to see. It is a good stochastic and a good value, but again, I'm not overly worried about that. And then bulls are low, bears are high. You have to understand that indicators is just the icing and the technical analysis is the cake. Yes, the indicators for CZR say it's a good value, which it is. But if you put it in the context, they have lower lows, lower highs, it's bleeding money. No one wants to go gamble money right now with the recession coming. Not many folks are going to be going to Las Vegas the next year to be like, let's go spend a bunch of money when we're all going to lose our job possibly. It doesn't make any sense. CZR to me, if the markets are red tomorrow, I'd start there as well. I like what I see. I would definitely watch list it. Next is DOC. This is a nice realty company. They have a nice dividend. I like DOC at any price. I think DOC has consistently printed nice dividends over its entire lifespan, right? It's been 22 cents, 23 cents. It's been very consistent. And that's what you want to see, right? So at this price point, it's a great value. Again, there's my price targets if you join the Discord. But you can see this is a very strong support. Traditionally, this area has been very strong and very volatile, and it's held up very well. So we're right back down here again. Could easily risk 1, maybe 2% to see a nice 4 or 5% move fairly easily. And again, DOC is a really nice long-term hold. If we were to buy in here and it rockets, you can be good holders for 5, 10, 15 years if it does what it's supposed to do. My automatic litter box is scooping, so if you hear that in the background, I do apologize. Oh, there's my cat. Oh, there he goes. He's worn out. He's all excited now because of the noises he hears. DOC, great support. POC wants to pull us higher. Overall, very simple support play with some nice higher lows. In this moment, you could definitely wait for a 10 EMA crossover. And what I mean is that there's two ways to enter a stock. The first is value, which DOC has here pretty well. You go, wow, $16 for DOC. What a value. And you buy it. The second is momentum, where you go, okay, I can use the EMA lines like I do, SMA or MA lines, whatever you prefer is fine. But as the price crosses over it, you buy into that momentum. Both work fine. This one has both in its advantage. Very good value here, a bit higher, great momentum buy. Either one is fine. RSI, it's low. You could say there's probably in here some bullish divergence. There's no bearish. I don't see it, but just -66, so really good value. Bulls are low and then bears are high. DOC here has all the trappings of a really nice value entry for a stock that, let's just say it tanks on you. And omitting any actual fundamental analysis, it should be a fine long-term hold. I do think that 23 cents every 3 months for a $16 stock is pretty nice. I think it's a really good realty company. With the impending market jostle, I'm not going to say crash, but there's definitely something brewing. Do your extra free research, do your due diligence, but I do like what I see. DOC, I'd watch list it. It does look really, really nice here for a good purchase. Next is HCO, a really nice looking short here. HCO, weeks ago, months ago, I was playing off of this perfectly. It was like BRN, which was an absolute tank, was an absolute unit. Even our last call made about 16%, and now it's fallen off. HCO is much the same. This is a very easy short. The same exact reasons as CNC and CZ are here. Strong support. You'd like to see it, but again, very clear resistance spot, and again, clear lower lows and lower highs. Trade with the trend. There's no real support here minus this one spot. And then again, you may see $34. If that breaks, all bets are loose. We're seeing probably closer to $24, $25. The chance for a major win here for a short is extremely alluring here. I love what I see. Again, the POC wants to pull us higher. That's not the greatest thing of all time, but these lower highs, making a textbook descending triangle. I want to see this bad boy break down. Great play. Again, it's probably going to be at value, but indicators are not nearly as important as our technical analysis. RSI at 52. It's a bit overbought right over here, about across underneath the 10 and the 50. That's your go signal. The cross beneath the 50 or the 10. Can easily see 5 to 6% in a day or two, 10% in 2 or 3 days. Good sign there. Stochastic is a bit high. I wouldn't consider this a bearish divergence by any means. It's not bullish either. It's just coming down from being overbought, and then bulls are high, bears are low. Everything here, you would have suspected it's going to be at value, but it's not. Even the indicators are baked in. The last move up was not very good, and it has no life here. No one's buying it. The trend is down. It's an easy short. HCO here, I want to see it die. I want to see it bleed. I'd watch list it. I do love what I see for a good, easy short here. Next is OFC, Corporate Office Prop Trust. That makes sense. A really good dividend stock as well. We're talking probably 4% and some change at this price, which is really good to see. So this is a really nice go long. Very strong support. Once again, if I were to zoom out, you can see this is a very important spot on this time frame. A lot of action bounces off this spot consistently. And the dividend's been very consistent, which is important for these kinds of stocks. Very consistent support. Great higher lows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And great lower highs. We're making a nice horizontal wedge here. If it breaks down through this support, I'm not overly upset because you can see a support clearly at 24/7. So maybe, just maybe, it breaks down a bit more and becomes a horizontal play. In that case, you're not going to be exactly the happiest, because you want to see a higher low from this spot. But this is a very good risk versus reward. Can risk 2%. So you see about 10 or 12 for an easy breakout here. POC again is pulling us higher. Great support, great trend here. You want to see a breakout eventually. And this does break down, you can probably buy it towards $24 and some change, $24.60. Overall, I love what I see. When it comes to our other indicators, a 10 crossover is fine if it was a bit lower. You're not going to give up 3% of your profit when your maximum is like 9 or 12. That's 25% of what you want to see. And open yourself up to that much risk makes very little sense. As now my cat uses that same litter box. So if that's in the background, I do apologize. I'm buying a house next year. We'll be able to avoid these kinds of issues. RSI, it's low. That's great. Stochastic, it's low. That's great. And then bulls are low, bottoming out, and then bears are high. Everything points to OFC of being a really good value purchase. You're risking 1 or 2% to make 7 or 8. And in this market, if your main concern is not risk management, you're probably not trading still. And those who push I can't just being so loud. Anyone who pushes non-risk management strategies is also probably not trading anymore. And that's why. OFC, I love what I see. I would definitely watch list it. Next is OLPX. This is another really nice horizontal wedge. It's the same exact play as OFC, but what we're seeing here is the POC is more towards the middle, indicating that whatever move we get will probably be a bit smaller, and until we're over the POC, which we're below, it's going to be a major resistance here. The resistance trend, you could argue it starts here. I just wanted to show that it does have consistent lower highs, but we do have very clear, again, higher lows as well. It's the same exact play as OFC. You have support here, resistance here, wedge forming. The only difference, and we're going to look at this together. I'm going to make sure you see I'm cheating. There's no EMA lines on there. If the 200 in particular and the 50 are in the middle of this wedge, and what I mean is that if our EMA lines are somewhere in this area, they're somewhere in here, in this middle area, That further proves that we do have a nice consolidation play and we're going for a breakout. We're buying into value and going for a breakout. Let's check together. Oh, wouldn't you know? Who knew? That here is your resistance trend. Here's your supporting. 200, 15, 10 are all in the middle of that triangle. Further proving the consolidation theory here. OLPX is a breakout or breakdown play. Love to see it. So with this kind of play here, you could go for a 10 crossover or a 50 crossover. Both are fine. I'd play the 10 here. But if it was me, I'm buying into value, and that value is obvious here at $14 and some change. RSI, it's low. I love it. Stochastic, I don't see any bearish divergence. No bullish ones, but negative 55. Good value. Our only issue is that the bulls and bears are tied. If bears do cross over and bulls cross under, this may turn into a breakdown very quickly. So keep that in mind and watch that closely. Overall, OLPX, the same exact play as OFC. It's just a slightly better value, and it's really, really, more volatile. We're risking more money, but we can make a lot more money. I love what I see. I'd watch list it, but again, risk management, make sure you're being careful. OLPX, I like it. I would definitely watch list it. Hey, look at TTD is the same exact play as HCO and CZR. Wow, a lot of these really nice descending triangles are forming. Again, it's a perfect, put a line there, perfect descending triangle, is it not? Right? This is the perfect descending triangle. We're seeing it have the same support, and it's starting to break down. Look up negative TTD. It should work on TOS. Negative TTD. Is that not a clear ascending triangle? Right? This is the opposite. If you didn't know, you put negative to switch it around. This is a clear ascending triangle, is it not? Right? This is going for a breakout. TTD is the same exact play, but a nice short. Again, the POC wants to pull us higher. Maybe it'll do it. I doubt it. It's a very strong resistance, strong support. I think here it breaks down further. Sure, you may need to risk 6-7% to be sure that you're correct, but you could easily see a short of 15-20% if it does break down. I love what I see. It's a very easy short. Just cross on the 10, the 50. If it crosses back over, you can use that area as your buy-in or against your short stop loss. But as long as it's below $46, you're pretty much good to go. Below the 10, you're good to go. RSI, it's fair. Stochastic, it's fair at best again. This is a clear bullish bearish divergence though, right? Like that's clear. Lower highs, higher highs. That's a bearish divergence. I've ever seen one right there. And bulls and bears are tied. If bulls cross under, TTD is absolutely done for. I think it's a very easy short here. I love what I see to see it kind of crash down. Again, if you didn't know, for all these plays here like CZR, you can put negative CZR and it puts it reverse. If you always want to go long. That's never a bad idea. Like CNC here looks crappy, but negative CNC here. That's a very easy support play, right? So, just keep that in mind. If you want to always go long, you can just do that to chart with. It's easy. But TTD here, easy short. It's going to break down, in my opinion. I love what I see. Last is VMW minus this odd earnings call, which I called it over here a bunch of times. I always call VMW. It's like Vroom. I think Vroom has recently been kind of wacky, but man, you give Vroom at like 14 and used to be 13, you're having a good time. VMW, anywhere near $109, you're happy to buy in. You have some short-term lower highs, nothing crazy, only last month, but this support line is an absolute tank. Anytime you get to 109, you want to buy in. Now, minus this earnings call, it's been really normal. You could risk 3 or 4% here. A full move, we're talking 15, so we're talking almost like a 4-to-1 play here. Even with a pretty liberal stop loss, it's a very simple play. Strong support, strong resistance. It's a horizontal play. Again, the POC here will be a resistance once we hit it. As you can see, it's been a resistance a bunch, but it's also been a nice support when you get over it, right? You get over it, it will help you out. But for now, it will be a small resistance. That paired with the resistance trend line may be a lot for VMW to get over, but once it does, it should be a fantastic play. When it comes to our indicators, I'm sure a 10 cross is fine. Yep, you want to play a 10 cross, you certainly can. The 50 cross is also fine, but I think, $1 less, $2 less, you'd be really happy. RSI, it's low. Stochastic, clear bullish divergence, right? You can see lower lows, higher lows. It's starting to turn here. As soon as this blue line crosses the red and it becomes an official reversal, that would be a bullish divergence. You love to see that. And then bulls and bears are both low. So whenever volume does kick in, if it's green, it's going to be huge. If it's red, it's going to absolutely crater and die. So either way, have risk management, but VMW here looks like a pretty good, solid play. I like what I see. I would definitely watch list it. There you guys have it. I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for watching the whole entire episode. I'm sure some of y'all will. I'm sure most of you won't. That's okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another watch list. As long as my work schedule permits it, we should be good to go. Have a good one. We'll see you guys then. Thanks.